Bonjour, today let's have a look at the verb penser in the future tense, to think. Okay, folks, let's have a look at the verb penser, to think, in the future tense. Penser is one of those very easy verb to conjugate. Why? Because it ends with er when it is in its infinitive form, which means all you need to do with penser is add special endings to make it sound like if it's in the future tense. Okay, so these endings are as follow. Re, ra, ra, ron, re, ron. Okay, if it sounds like that, it is very likely that the verb is in the future tense. So let's have this sound put together with the verb penser. Je penserai. I will think, okay? Je penserai. Tu penseras. You will think. Il pensera. He will think. Elle pensera. She will think. On pensera. One will think or we will think. Nous penserons. We will think. Vous penserez. You will think. Ils penseront. They will think. That's the masculine version. Elles penseront. They will think. And that's the feminine plural version. Okay? So as I said, when you conjugate a verb in the future tense, the verb always sounds like this. Re, ra, ron, re, ron. Okay, I know it makes it sound very sound like, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so you could say je penserai. Oh, I can't help it. I'm doing it. Je penserai. Re. Must be my accent. Here we go. Can you repeat after me? Je penserai. Tu penseras. Il pensera. Elle pensera. On pensera. Nous penserons. Vous penserez. Ils penseront. Elles penseront. Très bien. Now, we know that the future tense is a form like that. Remember that you will not be able to translate I will think, okay, because there is no such a thing as will. Excuse me. J'ai un chat dans la gorge. Oh dear. Right, as I said, you cannot translate I will think because there is no such a thing as will in French. Instead, there are special endings, okay? Now, if you wanted to say I will think of you, for example, you would say je penserai à toi. I will think of you. Je penserai à quelqu'un. So you often think and add an a. So you think to do something, you will add an a with an accent after the verb penser. Penser à faire quelque chose. To think about doing something. Okay? So, je penserai à toi. I will think about you. I will think of you. Okay? Another example. Nous penserons à nettoyer la maison avant ton arrivée. Nous penserons. We will think. Again, there's a, so about. Think about doing what? Nettoyer means to clean. To clean what? La maison. The house avant ton arrivée. Before your arrival. And the last example. Penseras-tu à ta maman lorsque tu voyageras? Penseras-tu? Will you think? Okay, have a look at the way I form this question here. So you take tu penseras and you invert it. Penseras-tu? And it has an hyphen between penser and tu, okay, because we know it's a question. Will you think? Penseras-tu à ta maman? Sorry, got some serious cat in my throat here. Penseras-tu à ta maman? Will you think about your mummy lorsque, when, Tu voyageras. You will travel. Again, voyager means to travel. I've put it into its future tense. Voyagera. Okay, can you hear that? Voyagera. Right. So these are my 3 examples. But of course, you can use penser que to think that. Okay. But quite often, when you think about doing something, you add an A after penser. Why don't you try to make your own sentence? And I will correct it. Right. That's the end of the lesson, but let me introduce you to a quirky French word. Before I do that, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done so already, because it's full of fabulous lessons. And why don't you leave a comment, because I always answer your comments. Okay, now remember that I have a website called learnfrenchwithalexa.com where you can have access to hundreds of hours of audio lessons by moi, and these take you to a very high level. Okay, and I have started my Patreon page, which I'm quite excited about. It's about getting your support, helping me create the most amazing French channel. Oh yes, amazing. And so the French word of today is ananas. An ananas, a pineapple. An ananas. I love saying that word. It's quirky. That's it for me. Au revoir, à bientôt. Bisous, bisous.